Namaste. This is a video on request by certain music students to clarify what the R1, R2 and R3 versions of Rishabham, similarly G1, G2 and G3 versions of gandharam, D1, D2 and D3 versions of dhaivatam, and N1, N2 and N3 versions of nishadam mean. It is so simple to understand. For a student who starts learning music for quite a long time, we need to know only about small re and big re, as we call it simplified. Similarly, small ga and big ga, small ma and big ma, small da and big da, small ni and big ni. Let us see each one in detail. Let us take the case of Rishabham. In Rishabham, for quite a long time, we need to know only about Shuddha Rishabham, that is small re, and chatursruti Rishabham, big re. But when we represent it numerically, this Shuddha Rishabham is R1, chatursruti Rishabham is R2 obviously, and for advanced learners, we need to be conscious about a third type of re, which is R3. This R3 is named Shadsruti Rishabham, and it is nothing but the small ga, that is sadharana gandharam as we call it. Position wise or shruti wise, this Shadsruti Rishabham is same as sadharana gandharam. But we call it or we spell it as re. That is, we sing sadharana gandharam as per shruti, meanwhile calling it or naming it or spelling it as re. This is what is called Shadsruti Rishabham. So this Shadsruti Rishabham and sadharana gandharam is shruti wise one and the same. So this is the case with Rishabham. Now coming to gandharam, as we said, we have small gandharam and big gandharam, which is quite enough for beginners. This small gandharam is termed as sadharana gandharam and big gandharam is termed as Antara gandharam. Now, when we come to numbering these are numerically represented as G2 and G3. Sadharana gandharam is represented as G2 and Antara gandharam is represented as G3. So where is G1? Obviously, it should be below G2. According to the numbers, we can guess that it should be below G2. Yes, it is. And what is it actually? It is the big re, chatursruti Rishabham, shruti wise. This G1 is called or termed shuddha gandharam. So this shuddha gandharam and our chatursruti Rishabham is one and the same shruti wise or position wise. But we sing chatursruti Rishabham with our throat and we spell it or we name it or we call it as Ga. Okay. That is what is meant by Shuddha Gandhara. Now, moving on to madhyamam. We don't have much confusions, thank God. We have only two madhyamams, Shuddha Madhyamam and Prati Madhyamam, small ma and big ma. Luckily, panchamam doesn't have any variation. Then we move on to dhaivatam. The story with dhaivatam is the very same as Rishabham. Shuddha dhaivatam is D1, small dha. Chatursruti dhaivatam is D2, big dha. And we have the third type of dhaivatam, which is D3, Shadsruti dhaivatam. So, remembering the story about Ri, what would it be? D3. D3 will be one and the same as small ni or Kaishiki nishadam, Shruti wise. We sing Kaishiki nishadam or small ni with our throat and we call it as or we spell it as dha. That is Shadshruti dhaivatam. Now moving on to Ni. The story is very same as it was for Gandhara. We have three types. The Kaishiki nishadam small ni and Kaakali nishadam big ni. But they are numbered N2 and N3. So where is N1? N1 is obviously below N2 and it is one and the same as our chatursruti dhaivatam, big dha, shruti wise. We sing chatursruti dhaivatam or big dha with our throat and we call it or name it or spell it out as ni. That is shuddha nishadam. And then we have Shadjam. Luckily, we don't have any variation for Shadjam too. Shadjam and panchamam do not have any variation. So, this was about the numerical representations of variations of all the notes. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni. For better clarity, I shall explain it with the help of a small keyboard which I have here. Sa. This is the Adhara Shadjam I have chosen. Sa. Now R1 is Shuddha Rishabham or small tree as we call it. It is Sa, Ri. With gamagam or without gamagam, it is Sa, Ri, Ri. Now, next one is R2, Chatursruti Rishabham. Sa, Ri, Sa, Ri. Now, we have the third one, Shadsruti Rishabham, which is Shruti wise, small Gandharam. This is Ga with respect to our Adhara Shadjam which we have chosen. Ga. Actually, this should be sung as Ga. Now, we are singing this note with our throat, that is small Gandharam with our throat, and we are calling it, we are spelling it as Ri. Let us see how it would be. Sa, Sa, Ri, Sa, Ri. see in Chalanata, for example, Sari, and we have Antara gandharam for our Ga. Ga, Sari, Ga. Actually, we are singing Saga, Ga, both the gandharams. And we call the small gandharam as Ri. So, this is what is called as Shadsruti Rishabham. Hope it is clear. Now moving on to Gandhara. Sa was our Adhara Shadjam. This Ga is small Gandharam or our sadharana Gandharam. Ga, Sa, Ga. Now we have Antara Gandhara, bigger Gandhara. Sa, Ga, Ga. That is big Gandhara, Antara Gandhara. Now comes our G1, that is Shuddha Gandhara. What was it? Chatursruti Rishabham, Shruti wise. And we call it as Gandhara. Let us see. Sa, Ri. This is Sa, Ri. Actually, big Rishabham, Chatursruti Rishabham. But we spell it out as Ga. This is actually big Ri with respect to our Shadjam. Sa, Ri. We should have sung it like this. Sa, Ri. But here we maintain this note or Chatursruti Rishabham in our throat and we call it as Ga instead of Ri. As we see in Ganamurti, Ganamurti, Ga, Ga, Ri, Sa, Ga, Ga. Okay, so that is Shuddha Gandharam or G1. Similar is the case with dhaivatam and nishadam. I know it's a bit confusing for beginners, and during olden days it had raised many controversies, it seems, and so itself such notes and ragas including such notes were called Vivaadis. So hope it is somewhat clear. If you need any further explanation, kindly let me know in the comments. I'll try to do my best. And some of my friends have suggested that all videos I have put till date need to be replicated in Malayalam too, so that it would be useful to many more. So I'll try to do the same in coming days. Thank you for being with me. Signing off, Jayashree Rajeev.